She's an enchantress, destiny's tree. Fear and doubt, she sets them free. Inner light guides the way, every night and every day.
Hello and welcome back to another mini masterclass. Now this one is going to be definitely one that you are going to want to save, mark, come back to, share with a friend, because we just experienced a portal, an 1111 portal. And whenever a portal comes about, it opens up a newer, higher perspective. And the download that I received, that is about why we are going through what we're going through and what my purpose in all of this is, was pretty amazing. And so I am sharing my perspective, which you can use your own discernment, but my perspective on how I see and view astrology and how I use astrology, which is I happen to believe that astrology, your natal chart, is a self-development tool. There are 12 houses that are each area of your life and how you can grow in those areas of your life. So right now we're going to get into the Age of Aquarius, as well as what this movement is with Pluto moving into Aquarius. So first of all, the Age of Aquarius is now, okay? And some people believe that it happened in 2012. And you've heard me talk about, if you're new here, you probably didn't hear me say this, but the Age of Aquarius, or any age, happens for 2,160 years. And we have been in the Piscean Age. And so now things are changing rapidly. And when we talk about the Great Awakening, what we're talking about is people are starting to be more self-aware, and they are also using their critical thinking. So when I think of the Age of Aquarius, I think of how when you use your critical thinking, that you aren't easily misled by propaganda. See, the Piscean Age was about putting you under an illusion. It is about hierarchy, where the Aquarian Age is about community. And so we are moving away from believing that there is somebody on top and that we have to look at our lives externally, seeking outside validation. We are remembering our freedom. We are remembering that we are powerful, and we're going to start to use our life force energy for the greater good, but also to live an abundant life in the way that we choose, which I call the enchanted life. That's why I wrote a book about it. Now let's just talk about the Aquarius energy. So the Aquarius energy is about community and technology, but it's about being a nonconformist. It is about dancing to the beat of your own drum. It is also about coming together from the, not from a hierarchy, but from being on the same level, where we come together in unity and there is no division. Yes, we are individuals, and our individuality makes us unique and beautiful, but we understand that we're all in this together as a collective. So we start operating from a different perspective. It's just like when you play a video game, okay? So every time you reach a new level, either the scenery changes, the rules change, and there's new players that are introduced in the game. Well, it is the same thing when we move into another age. And this age that we're moving into is from a different perspective than the Piscean Age, where the Piscean Age was about worshiping something external, seeking outside validation, operating from attachment and fear, and this illusion of fitting in. And even if it costs your authenticity, it was these rules that were made up by the hierarchy that you needed to abide by to be a part of society. And so we are moving away from that in the way of understanding that our uniqueness is what makes us powerful, and that standing out is more important than fitting in. So you're going to see that there are going to be a lot of outspoken people. They're not going to filter themselves anymore. because we have been filtering ourselves for a very long time and not speaking our truth. And sometimes it's going to come off as being abrasive, but then sometimes it's going to change your perspective. And the reason why this needs to happen is because we have been under this illusion that if we abide by the rules, then we'll receive everything that we need, and that this illusion that we're under, like all of these hierarchy establishments are really thinking about our best interest. And now we are seeing that it's never been about our best interest and that we have to take it into our own hands. It does feel like revolutionary energy, but it's going to come from a place of peace because you're taking your power back. See, remember when you're coming from being a victim, you are triggered. And because you're triggered, you react. And when you react, you want everyone to validate you that you are right. You want to be seen, and it's at any cost. But because this illusion is moving away, the veil is moving away, we're seeing that everybody has some bits of validity to their truth and their perspective. And you start saying, well, who am I to push my beliefs onto somebody else? And how can we take everybody's beliefs and give them the autonomy to live in their reality in the way that they choose, as long as I focus on my reality and how I want to move in the world. And so this is a beautiful time. Now, I believe that the reason why I was chosen to show up and do this work is because I'm an Aquarius rising. So everyone sees me as either being the unicorn or dancing to the beat of my drum, being a nonconformist, always doing things, from my own authenticity, not letting people tell me what to do, pushing against authority. And when there's a healthy balance of divine feminine and divine masculine, you're not going to be in that revolutionary state. And so I had to work through my triggers and my beliefs. Now, just think about your beliefs. Your beliefs are this filter. Say when you're videoing or you're taking a picture and you put a filter on it, that is the lens that you see your reality through. And now the filter is changing. And so it used to be under the illusion of Piscean Age, which was about hierarchy and being in control and fitting into these social boxes and not standing out and conforming. And so you have to really hone in on who you are and what your values are and what you align with and what makes you feel free. And you abide by that because you're showing up as an unfiltered version of yourself. There is no more conforming. And that's what we are moving away from. And that's what we're seeing, which can sometimes come as like a shock to the system because of this rapid change. That's Uranus. Uranus is energy, Uranus. And this rapid change is uncomfortable so that you will start living your life from a different filter. So, this Piscean age of illusion has given you this belief that you are powerless. And now you need to rebuild. And rebuilding is understanding that you are more powerful than you thought you were. And when I think of your astrological chart and I think about Pluto moving into Aquarius, Pluto is the planet of transformation. Pluto is the death and rebirth. So we are all going to be going through a death and rebirth of the belief that we had, this illusion we've been under from the Piscean age, and moving into a rebirth of the Aquarian age, which is another playing field. It's another level in the game. That's why when you hear about some spiritualists talking about the age of enlightenment and the age of moving into the fifth dimension. Well, it's because you are moving from this state of fear and guilt and powerlessness and attachment into a state of empowering yourself, and also coming from the internal belief that um, you have value, and your what you have to say is important. Because, see, with the illusion of the Piscean age, we've been hidden behind, so to speak, the curtain of Oz, and not feeling seen or heard. And this time we're coming together and we're expressing our different beliefs, our different values, our different observation. We are going to start using our critical thinking. People have not been using their critical thinking for a very, very long time. And that's why all of these things that are labeled as conspiracy is kind of like gaslighting you from your beliefs. And if something is true to you, you have the right to explore that, but not at the point where you're trying to push your beliefs onto someone else. That is what this movement is about. So when you understand that you are a sovereign being and that you are creating your reality through observation, because we know now with the quantum field that it is consciousness, and through the experiment of the two slot with the particles, and through observation they behave the way that you expect them to. If you are constantly focusing on what you're being right and your observation, and there is no other um, like they with the particle waves, right? Like the waves move the particles and gives you different outcomes. We're going to start realizing that there are different perspectives and there are different ways at looking at things, instead of our our filtered view of this illusion that we've been programmed under. I hope that makes sense. So when you understand that you are consciousness, that's why I made the videos about you're a star observing itself, because consciousness is made of the same particles as a star, and it's plasma, right? If you start realizing that you are having a personal relationship with the universe, with source, with God, and that it is through your connection and co-creating with this um, plasma, this consciousness, it is how it creates this ripple effect and memory in the quantum field. I know that's a lot to grasp, but we're moving in a positive direction, but you have to do your work now. So if you were at the beginning stages of having this veil lifted, right, you're seeing things differently, especially with Pluto moving into Aquarius. A lot of people are going to experience a rapid awakening, which means a new level, entering into that new level of the Aquarian age, of having to transform, having to go through a death and rebirth. And we do have those marker points that I've talked about in other videos, where we have our nodal returns, our Chiron returns, our Saturn returns. All of those are set up to see if you are on track, if you are on course, because all of us signed up to be here at this time where this change is happening, and we wanted to experience it. Now, let's just talk about this division of two worlds. Because we are a free will, we can choose to hold on to that old illusion of hierarchy. We can choose to hold on to those limitations, those belief systems of always staying in the victimhood, and always wanting to be saved, and always wanting to blame external things for our experience. You can hold on to that. You can be in that. That would be considered the third dimensional world. That is staying in a lower vibration. When you adopt this newer, higher dimension, as we call the fifth dimension, it is understanding that you are a sovereign being and you are free, and that you have been the one that's been keeping yourself captive in this victim mentality, in this belief that you are powerless. And so now you're ready to do the work. That's where my book comes in, She's Magic. that I've written. But also, this is where you start doing the inner work because you're going to go through a major death, a major tower moment, and it's going to feel like a dark night of the soul. But this is so that you can clear those beliefs. So you want to look at where you have Pisces, okay, in your chart. And the reason why is because that is where you have strong indoctrination from the Piscean age in those areas of your life. I happen to have Pisces in my second house of the material world and resources. And so, under the Piscean age of hierarchy, I believed that my money was what created my value. How much money I had in the bank was a representation of my value. Material things created stability for me. And all of that is washing away because we are remembering who we are, throat chakra. Um, it is to remember that you have innate value and that the money was just a man made construct to keep you in the illusion of where your value lies. So I also have Chiron. And so you want to look at where your Chiron is because that's your woundedness that you came into this lifetime with that you also need to clear up because that wound is keeping you in this victim mentality and you want to remove yourself from that so you can empower yourself. So those are two important places. And then also the Aquarius energy. Where do you have strong Aquarian placements? You're going to want to look where those planets are as well. Neptune, Aquarius, and I mean, not Aquarius, Uranus, Neptune, Uranus, and Pluto. You want to look at where you have those planets in your chart. And that's because you're going to empower yourself. The reason why I'm sharing all of this information with you is just to empower you so you don't have to hire me to tell you these things. Okay, so now I just want to go over the comparison of each house with the illusion of the Piscean age and the Aquarian age. So you can kind of see how we are adapting into this new fifth dimension reality away from the third dimension reality. So you'll kind of see how it's affecting you in your house. Now, when you understand your placements, which I just, told you to look at your Pisces, Aquarius, and where you have your Pluto, Uranus energy, but this is going to help you to see and your Chiron. We can't forget the Chiron. This is going to help you see how the shift is happening so that you're prepared for change. So let's go get into the first house. Now, the first house is about your identity and self-image. Under the age of Pisces, it was about your identity is often defined by seeking validation from others and conforming to traditional roles or expectations. People may be influenced by external images and unsure of their true self, right? And that's why there's this huge movement of authenticity and finding out, remembering who you are. So, under the Aquarian age, it is about embracing your unique identity and expressing your authentic self without fear of judgment. And self image is shaped by your inner truth and your desire to be a catalyst of positive change in the world. Now, just think about what I just said. And can you feel how different that is from seeking outside validation to expressing yourself authentically? Okay, now let's just talk about the second house, which I, shared where I have my Pisces and under this Piscean illusion, and I needed to clean that up a bit and remember who I am in this Aquarius energy. Okay, so in the second house, it's of your value, self worth, and finances. So in the age of Pisces, self worth may be tied to material wealth, status, or how others perceive you. Values are often based on societal or religious norms, and money is seen as a source of security and sacrifice. So, how many of us have been under this illusion that if you work yourself to death and you obtain all of these material things and you have the best FICO score, that you are seen as healthy participant in society. Yeah. Okay. So in the age of Aquarius, self-worth is derived from personal growth. And I strongly believe that you can use astrology to help you with your self-development. That's what I'm doing here. If you're interested about self-development through astrology, then I welcome you to subscribe, because these are the type of videos I'm going to show up doing to help you on your journey through this enlightenment stage of being in the age of Aquarius and helping you through the difficult times of Pluto moving into Aquarius. So it's about your personal growth and your unique contribution and a strong inner knowing of your value. That's what I was talking about. And your finances are viewed as a tool for creating freedom and supporting collective well-being, not just individual wealth. That is so freeing to think about your finances in that way and to realize that no matter what your money says, you always have inherent value. And that is really a more enlightened way of seeing yourself and your value. So let's move on to the third house, which is communication, learning, community. Okay, in age of Pisces, communication can be passive. That is that victim personality, right? Can be passive, unclear, and overly emotional. People may rely on traditional resources of knowledge and hesitate to question or innovate. Community ties are based on familiarity rather than shared ideas. Going back to what I said, when you start using your critical thinking and understanding that everyone has a different perspective and something to share, it can enlighten you into thinking outside of your own box. Okay. Now, the age of Aquarius is communication is clear, innovative, and inclusive, using technology and new methods to connect. Learning involves critical thinking and exchanging new ideas with focus on education that promotes enlightenment and progress. See, when you're in that victim mentality, there is no idea of progression because you keep putting yourself in the ruins of being in confinement and somebody is taking something away from you. But when we come together and we share our perspectives and we see that there's a different way of looking at things, then we create this strong community. And that's where we're headed. Now, let's talk about the fourth house. So, the fourth house is home, family, and roots. In the age of Pisces, family is seen through the lens of tradition and sometimes martyrdom, where there is a sense of duty or obligation. Home may be a place where emotional burdens are carried or secrets are kept. And I talk about that in my book because I came from humble beginnings, right? A single parent mom. And I always thought that when I moved a beautiful middle class neighborhood, that's what I seeked, right? Under the Piscean age, it's conformity, being accepted, raising up in the material wealth, that people would have it figured out, that they wouldn't be burdened with victimization, that they wouldn't be burdened of not being enough. And I saw it play out in so many homes, and this shame around it and the secrecy around it, and this belief that you had to follow these traditions that were man-made. We also see that with the holiday seasons coming upon us, we're not really filling these traditions that were made, that kept us in this loop of being a consumer. And so people are really wanting to create their own traditions. So, under the age of Aquarius, family is redefined to include chosen and soul family connections. So, it's not only your inherent family, but it is a connection that you feel with others that might not be blood, with an emphasis on freedom, individuality, and shared experiences. Home is a space for innovation eco-conscious living, and community gatherings. And that's what I was talking about in my last video, that when you raise your child to conform and to see through your lens, through this filter you have, you take away their individuality, you take away their confidence, you take away their belief that they can be independent and do things on their own. It's a sense of freedom and coming together as community, and not this hierarchy of the parents pointing the finger and telling the child what they should do. With the means of safety, right? We always have safety at the forefront, but you know what I'm talking about, the individuality and space to grow. Okay, so let's just move on to the fifth house. So the fifth house is about creativity, pleasure, and children. In the age of Pisces, creativity is often linked to escapism or dreams that never fully realized. Pleasure may be sought through illusion or fantasy, and children may be seen as an extension of one's ego and legacy. So, going back to the fourth house of believing that you're molding your kids so that you can wear this badge of, being the star parent, okay, living your life vicariously through your kids and not giving them the autonomy for their self expression and how they want to build their own reality. Now, again, there's manipulation that happens. We've seen that in the Piscean age. And so this is about your autonomy. But, as your parent, you can be a guide as a parent. Be a guide for all means. You're not going to just let your kid go out in the middle of the street and get hit by a car so they can learn their lesson, right? But you understand you're going to set the foundation. When you set the foundation, a healthy foundation, and teach your children to have healthy boundaries and to explore their expression creatively, then it removes this need for acceptance and wanting to conform to what other people expect of them. So the Aquarian age, creativity is used to inspire and innovate and bring about social change. Pleasure comes from authentic self expression and connecting with others who share your passions. Children are seen as individuals with unique paths to contribute to their future, which is a totally different feeling, energy, perspective from the age of Aquarius. And even when I think about this big surge of the collapse of Hollywood, it's because they built this illusion and fantasy of reality that people have been striving for that was not authentic, even to the point where you use plastic surgery to mold yourself into believing that you are this version of acceptance, right? It's like, I feel like if you've ever seen the movie Stepford's Wives, you'd understand what I'm saying. And I do believe that all of these um, young women who are conforming to have plastic surgery to look like a certain celebrity are going to be viewed as not attractive. And they're going to want their old faces back, but it's going to be too late because we want the imperfection. I have a crooked nose. I'm happy with my crooked nose. I don't need to be perfect. I know my soul has more depth than my physical appearance. And this is what we're moving into. So now let's talk about the sixth house. The sixth house is work, health, and service. So in the age of Pisces, work can feel like a self sacrifice, and there may be a tendency to overextend oneself or fall into victimhood. Health practices may be based on blind faith in traditional methods rather than personal empowerment. And I've been talking about this, how our health is going to be more individualized. We are going to realize that we're unique and we're not one box fits into one group and you put a band aid on it and you treat the symptoms all the same. We're starting to understand that our genetic makeup is different. And so it's going to be more catered to specialized medicine than this blanket to treat a symptom that causes more problems. So the age of Aquarius is work is viewed as an opportunity to serve the greater good while honoring your own well-being. Health practices are holistic, integrating technology and new research to support wellness. Service is about collaboration, innovation, and community uplifting. It's a whole different feeling. And this is beautiful, right? It's like don't resist the change. The only change that you need to do is an internal change. So let's just talk about the seventh house of relationships and partnership. In the age of Pisces, relationships are often based on romantic ideals, codependency, or sacrificing personal needs for the sake of others. There may be a focus on soulmates or unions that perpetuate old patterns. So if you think you have this soulmate, right, you think that all of the trials and tribulations and everything that you go through, you stick with it because that's your soulmate. It's like this indoctrination that religion has perpetuated. Like if you're in an abusive relationship because you made your vows, you're supposed to stick through it. Okay. That is going away. And the age of Aquarius, partnership is collaborative. There is not going to be any roles of you're the husband and you're the wife, and these are your expectations of your role. Where both individuals maintain their independence while contributing equally to the relationship. Unions are based on shared goals, growth, and mutual respect for each other's individuality. So, how many relationships come together in union and there is that hierarchy sense where your male counterpart expects you to behave in this filter, if you will, of what they believe it means to be a wife. And that's been perpetuated for centuries. And so, with coming in as collaboration, we start working together as a family unit, as partnership for growth, and to understand that your individuality is important. You don't have to morph into this role that I expect you to. Go and be yourself, giving back yourself autonomy and moving away from codependency. Okay, now the eighth house. The eighth house is about transformation, shared resource, and intimacy. In the age of Pisces, transformation is feared or resisted, and intimacy may be clouded by secrecy or emotional entanglement. Shared resources are seen through the lens of power struggles or dependency. So, that was one of the things I needed to work through, is because when you share your resources, the old construct is saying you're dependent, and because you're dependent, you have no worth. And so you're always fighting to not fall into that category. But when you understand that you're working together as a unit, then it creates more of a community, communal funds, than to create this fear and division. And also embracing transformation. That's what we're learning right now, embracing transformation. Because if you're fearing failure and you're not willing to transform, you are stuck. You are stuck in this 3D confinement, and you're not willing to rise above and feel this enlightened energy of this fifth dimensional reality that is about change. People fight change, but change is good. And sometimes old confinements need to fall apart, old constructs, in order for us to adopt into a newer version, higher version of ourselves, and to create this ripple effect in the collective. So that's what you're doing right now, is you are working on your transformation, your death, and your rebirth. Okay, so now we're going to move on to the ninth house. And the ninth house is about philosophy, travel, and higher learning. The age of Pisces, beliefs are rooted in tradition, religion, or ideals that discourage questioning. And that is where religion was based on fear and guilt, right? You don't question it because otherwise you're going to go to hell. Everything is this external punishment, sin. And when you understand that you are a divine being, and that um, the universe, God, consciousness, source resides within you, and you have this innate um, barometer of that navigates you from what's right and wrong in your belief system. And you also feel more connected to source when you're in nature. And it's not this hierarchy of someone telling you how you have to believe. That is going away. So the age of so also let's talk about travel and higher learning are pursued as a means of escape rather than enlightenment. So how many of us try, you know, plan these trips to travel after working? It's like your vacation. You're escaping from this life that you are tired and you feel like you've sacrificed yourself for. And so you look forward to your vacation time. Where now, because of technology, you can live a life where your vacation time is not being revolved around work, but you're taking it with you. And so you can explore and travel, but you're taking your work with you, giving you freedom, giving you time freedom back, and engaging in what's important to you. So, in the age of Aquarius, philosophy is open minded. Again, going back to individuality, understanding that everyone has their own perspective, with a desire to explore diverse perspectives and embrace new paradigms. Travel is seen as an opportunity for cultural exchange and global connection. Higher learning focuses on innovation, technology, and progressive ideas. And so that's where philosophy is going to be huge during this age. And that's why I say we're going back to a second renaissance where it's about your creativity, co-creating with the universe, and knowing that your perspective matters and being outspoken and to be able to have healthy conversations around how other people see, using your critical thinking and understanding that when you put higher thinkers in a room together, they can come up with great resolution. So that's where we're moving into. And so let's talk about the 10th house of career, reputation, and public life. Age of Pisces, career choices are influenced by societal expectations or a desire for status and recognition. Public reputation is built on illusion, appearance, and adhering to old hierarchical structures, right? So it is like who is the most important on top? Who is, who's the smartest? Who has the most accolades? Who has the most degrees? All of this construct of hierarchy is now it's like, okay, people have something important to say. And we understand that this illusion of, appearance and adhering to hierarchical structures was always an illusion. So the age of Aquarius, career is a platform to create positive change and pursue one's passion in a way that serves the collective. Reputation is based on authenticity, innovation, and your contribution to societal evolution. Public life is about leadership through collaboration and vision. Just listen to how different that is. And so, if you are following what you love and you are creating something for the greater good, then you are living your purpose. You are living your life, not being a machine and being a cog in the wheel, but knowing that you have something important to share that is going to help the collective and not just yourself. So let's talk about the 11th house. The 11th house is friendship groups and future visions, which happens to be the house of Aquarius. So in the Piscean age, friendships may be based on emotional bonds, unspoken expectations, or shared struggles. Group affiliations can feel exclusive, are defined by tradition, and future visions may be hazy or unrealistic. So growing up, there were all of these cliques. How do you remember in school all of these cliques and how you dressed, or what labels you wore, or what you drove, or what neighborhood you lived in, put you in with the in crowd? That's going away now because we're going to see through all of that, and material things hold no value anymore. It is who you are, your authentic voice, who you are at your core is going to have more value. So, in the age of Aquarius, friendships are based on shared values, freedom, and a sense of equality. Groups are inclusive, driven by common goal to improve the world. Future visions are clear, intentional, and focused on progressive and humanitarian efforts. We are moving away from it being a me world to a we world. Let's just talk about the 12th house, the last and final house, which is the house of Pisces, which is the age that we have been under. Okay. So the 12th house is spirituality, subconscious, and mysticism. The age of Pisces, spirituality is tied to mysticism, escapism, or blind faith in higher powers. The subconscious is a place of hidden fears or unresolved emotions, and people may feel victimized by unseen forces. Again, that is going back to believing that um, religion, this spiritual entity, is outside of you and you are under scrutiny all of the time. And it affects the way that you show up for yourself. And understanding that spirituality is an inside job, it's not an outside job. We're moving away from, this escapism, because when you are, your subconscious mind holds on to these limitations. It is the filter, which the lens in which you see your life. And so if you are operating from that lens, your filter is fuzzy. You don't have clarity on who you are. You're just living your life through all of these expectations, where that's where avoidance comes in, and addiction, right? Because you want to just escape from your reality. In the age of Aquarius, spirituality is integrated in your daily life with emphasis on consciousness, self-awareness, and understanding the interconnectedness of all things. The subconscious is a wellspring of creativity and intuitive wisdom. People empower themselves through spiritual practices that promote enlightenment and global harmony. That is totally different than the restriction of religion and avoidance and um, illusion of, wanting to take on some kind of addictive personality so you don't have to feel. And these shifts emphasize moving from a passive sacrificial mindset of the age of Pisces to one that values individual freedom, authenticity, and collective well-being, the age of Aquarius. By embracing these perspectives, you can align more with the Aquarian values of innovation, unity, and forward-thinking consciousness. And that is what we are moving into. Now I want to go over how you're going to be affected by Pluto moving into Aquarius according to your rising sign. Okay, so let's talk about Pluto moving into Aquarius. Pluto is a generational planet, so it's going to be in Aquarius for 40 years. So it affects generations. So keep that in mind. I'm going by your rising sign and what house it's going to affect you in. So, according to your rising sign, you will have Pisces in a house. And that's what we're going to talk about right now. So, if you are in Aries rising, this transit is going to affect your 11th house. Pluto will transform your social circles and how you relate to groups and communities. You may gain power through influential networks, but you'll also need to navigate shifting dynamics. Future goals will undergo intense changes as you are called to embody your most authentic aspirations and work toward collective evolution. Now, if you are a Taurus rising, you're going to experience this in your 10th house of career, public image, and authority. Expect major transformations in your career and public life. You may find yourself drawn to positions of power or leadership, but will need to handle authority responsibly. This transit could bring a complete overhaul of your professional reputation, pushing you to align your work with a greater sense of purpose and societal change. If you have a Gemini rising, you will have this effect of Pluto moving into your ninth house. Okay, so the ninth house is about your beliefs, travel, and higher learning. Your worldview, philosophies, and beliefs are set to be transformed. You may become interested in a new progressive ideologies or explore unconventional spiritual paths. This could also indicate intense and life-changing journeys or a desire to use education as a tool for empowerment and societal impact. If you have a Cancer rising, your eighth house will be affected by this transit. And the eighth house is transformation, intimacy, and shared resources. Deep emotional and psychological transformations are on the horizon. This period will challenge you to explore power dynamics, an intimate relationship, and face your fears around vulnerability and trust. You may experience profound shifts related to shared finances, investments, and your relationship with themes of life, death, and rebirth. If you have a Leo rising, seventh house of partnership, marriage, and contracts, your partnerships, both personal and professional, will undergo a significant transformation. Power struggles in relationships may surface, promoting you to address control issues and create healthier, more equal dynamics. This transit could bring transformative partnership into your life or end relationships that no longer align with your growth. If you are a Virgo rising, you will experience it in your sixth house, which is work, health, and daily routines. Pluto will transform your approach to work, health, and daily habits. You may need to let go of routines or jobs that are not empowering. This could transit could push you to transform your wellness practices, explore healing modalities, or experience shifts in how you serve others. Power dynamics at work may come to the forefront, encouraging you to claim authority over your professional life. You can see where this is going. You're moving out of this victim mentality, okay, through all of the houses. If you are a Libra rising, you are experiencing this in your fifth house of creativity, romance, and children. Expect a deep transformation in how you express your creativity and experience joy. Your romantic relationships may become more intense, and you may feel drawn to your passionate, empowering connections. Your relationships with your inner child or your actual children will also be in area of transformation, pushing you to create a life that reflects your most authentic self. If you are a Scorpio rising, you will experience this in your fourth house. Your foundation, house of home, family, and roots. Your foundation and sense of security will be transformed. This could manifest as a deep change in your home environment or family dynamics, pushing you to redefine what home means. You may confront ancestral patterns and work to break free from family power struggles, creating a more authentic and supportive base for yourself. If you are a Sagittarius rising, you're experiencing this in your third house of communication, siblings, and local environment. Your communication style, relationship with siblings, and day to day interactions are set to transform. You may feel compelled to speak your truth in a more empowering ways or become involved in community activism. You'll also be challenged to let go of outdated ways of thinking and embrace new revolutionary ideas. So much empowerment. If you are a Capricorn rising, in your second house, you will experience this transit of values, finances, and self worth. Pluto will transform your relationship with money, resources, and self worth. You may experience significant financial shifts, pushing you to examine your attachment to material security. This transit will encourage you to redefine your values and understand your truth beyond the material realm, empowering you to build a more solid foundation. If you are an Aquarius rising, you will experience this in your first house of self identity and personal goals. This is a transformation period for your sense of identity and how you present yourself to the world. You will become called, you will be called to step in to your personal power and embrace your authentic self. This could involve shedding an old self image and rebirthing into a more empowered, evolved version of you. Personal goals will shift to align with your true purpose and societal impact. And if you are a Pisces rising, you will experience this in the 12th house of spirituality, subconscious, and healing. Pluto's transit will promote profound spiritual and psychological transformations. You may be drawn to deep healing work, uncovering subconscious patterns, or exploring esoteric and metaphysical realms. Secrets or past traumas may come to the surface, using you to release and transform them. There is a time to deepen your spiritual practice. This is the time to deepen your spiritual practices and reconnect with your inner power. So much power. Overall, the theme of Pluto in Aquarius, this transit emphasizes transformation on a collective level, where individuality and community become intertwined. For all rising signs, Pluto in Aquarius brings the potential to empower yourself in the areas affected with strong focus on innovation, progress, and aligning with a vision for the future. Remember that Pluto's lessons are about facing and embracing change, even when it feels uncomfortable, in order to emerge stronger and more empowered. And this is what we are all going through. I happen to be an Aquarius rising, and that's where I am experiencing owning who I am and redefining why I'm here. All of the pieces are coming together. I began this video talking about the 1111 portal and what came to me. And I realized as an Aquarius rising, I'm here to usher in this new reality, this new perspective, this new world, this new way of being, this new self-awareness, this newer level, this higher level of consciousness. And that is all I have for you today. If you have any questions, if you have any aha moments, just put them down in the comment section. I really want to hear how this hit home with you, how this has given you clarity on why things are happening the way they are. And let this be a lesson that things are happening all in divinely. They're happening divinely. We are moving into this balance of the divine feminine and divine masculine. And the only way that you can show up as your highest version of your divine feminine is to heal all of those stories that you are telling yourself, to remember that you are living your life through a filter, and that filter is not yours. It is not your truth. You have been pushing yourself down for way too long. We have an epidemic of depression and anxiety because people fear self-expression to their fullest, to have their voice be heard, and always trying to do the right thing that has been written by this hierarchy construct. So now it's time for freedom. Freedom to be you, freedom to use your voice, freedom to create the world in which you want to live in, this reality. Share your perspective, know you have value, and know that you are important, because going back to being a star, you have always been here to live your starring role. And that is all I have for you today.
Destiny's tree, fear and doubt, she feels no shame. In her eyes, a story told, heart of fire, soul of gold. She's an enchantress, destiny's tree.